Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be making some cookies with some different flavourings. So for this recipe we will need 5 cups of self-raising flour, 500 grams of butter, 1 cup of caster sugar and a tin of condensed milk. And then you can use any flavourings you like. Today we've got M&M's, chocolate chips, Milo, hundreds and thousands, jam and Nutella. So first off we need to cream the butter and the sugar. So you need to make sure that your butter is softened before you start. You'll probably start off on a low speed first, otherwise it will flick everywhere. So you need to also make sure you get all the sides smooth. So once our butter's creamed, it will be lighter in colour and a smooth texture. We now are going to add our condensed milk. So we need a whole tin. So make sure we scrape out all the excess in the jar.
Or you can leave some to eat,
Yes, that too.
if you're that way inclined.
There we go. Now we're also going to add some of our flour, but we need to add it just a little bit at a time, otherwise it will flick up everywhere. And we'll just mix it really slow. So once that's pretty much mixed in, we can add some more in. Probably do it in 3 lots, I think. So it will start to get a bit harder to mix once you add more flour in. So you can use a wooden spoon if it's easier.
It's going everywhere,
It is going everywhere. That's alright.
so be careful.
I'm gonna add the last bit. Okay, this one will be the one that'll go very careful.
Oh, that.
Super hard to mix now with the mixer. So I think I will get the wooden spoon.
Play it safe.
Scrape out the excess. Make sure we've got all of it out. So you can also use your hands if you're wanting to mix it as well. If you've got children, they can get involved in making this recipe too. It's such a simple recipe. Okay, so that's pretty much our biscuit base. It's not too bad. So first off, we're going to do some just plain biscuits. Just mix it with my hands a little bit. It's a bit sticky. Okay, so with our biscuits, we roll them into balls. It's all over my hands. And then we just place it on a baking tray. Move the tray a little bit closer. So you can either do it in balls. You don't want them too big, otherwise they'll take a long time to cook and they may burn. But you also need them roughly the same size so that they don't cook unevenly. My balls aren't very straight. So they don't have to be perfectly round because they will flatten out a bit in the oven.
Do you have to preheat the oven?
Yes, so we're going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. And once we get them in the oven, you can cook them until they're golden brown. So different ovens take different times, roughly about 10 minutes. So this butter was super soft when we started, so the mixture's a little bit sticky, but that's all right.
I did get it out the night before.
Yes, make sure you get your butter out the night before, or you can put it in the microwave for a few seconds just to soften it up. Okay. So with our plain ones, another option to do is using a fork, and we can press them down to make a bit of a decorative pattern. So I'll do 6 of each so then we can see the difference once they're cooked. So I'll get these in the oven. Wipe my hands a little bit. So for our next lot of biscuits, we're going to get a clear container, a clean container, and we'll just put a little bit of the dough in the container. Didn't mix this one very well. That's all right. So for this one, we're going to do Milo. So we just need to get the Milo and put probably 1 to 2 scoops in, depending on how much mixture you have. So, and also depends on how much flavour you would like in your biscuits. And then we just give it a mix up. So you can mix it as much as you like or leave it a bit uneven. It's entirely up to you. I probably put a bit too much Milo for this small amount. Okay. Again, we're just going to roll them into balls quickly.
Do you squash them down or you just leave them as a ball?
It's entirely up to you. You can squash them down a bit and they'll be a bit flatter to cook, or you can leave them as the ball. They will spread out a little bit and squash down in the oven. Okay, so we'll do a few of each of that. Okay, so for our next lot of biscuits that we're going to do today, we'll do the same thing. We'll get our mixture. So I've still got a bit of Milo on my hands, but that's all right. I've just a bit of extra flavour into this lot. So for these ones, we might do some some chocolate chips. Then we just mix them up. So with the chocolate chip, they will go a bit gooey to the inside of the biscuits when they're cooked. And they are really nice warm once they're out of the oven. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to just roll these ones and I'll pop them on this tray with the other Milo ones to cook. So with this recipe, it should make roughly 100 biscuits, depending on the size that you make. If you're making them a bit smaller, it will make more. If they're a bit bigger, you won't get as many. You can also pre-make the mixture and freeze it. You can roll it up into a log and wrap it in Glad wrap and pop it in the freezer, and then when you're wanting to use it, get it out and cut it into pieces, or you can roll them into balls and freeze them on a baking tray and transfer them to a zip seal bag or a container once they're frozen.
That's a good idea.
So then you're prepared for if someone comes around for afternoon tea, or you need a snack for the kids for school, you've got them ready in the freezer to go. Okay. So for the next one we're going to do, we might do our jam and Nutella drops. This one again is super simple. We get some of our mixture, straight from the bowl. Get another tray. So we just have to make sure we keep an eye on the ones in the oven because they do cook super fast. So for our jam and Nutella drops, we again roll them into balls. My ones are quite big here, but you can do them any size. Oh, that one was huge. So you could use any ingredients that you like. You could use sultanas or some like lollies, pretty much anything. Maltesers, Skittles.
Chocolate in the middle.
Chocolate in the middle, yes, definitely. You would probably just need to make sure the chocolate's cold if you put it in the middle, so then it doesn't melt all the way through.
Yeah.
One more after this one. So for the jam drops, we need to just put a divot into the biscuits. You can either use your finger like I am, or use the handle of a spoon or a fork. But it's just as easy to do your finger.
Do they taste yummy?
They do.
Of course they do.
Straight out of the oven
Oh,
is the best time.
yes. I'd reckon.
Okay. These are good for both adults and children.
Definitely.
So we now get our jam, and we just put a little bit in each. You don't want too much because it will overflow. Whoop. It's all right.
More for later.
And when you're doing these ones, make sure you've got baking paper or something on the tray, because it will, if it does overflow like I've just done with that first one, you don't want it stuck to your tray. Now the Nutella is also quite sticky, so it can be a bit harder to put into each one, but okay. Very gooey. They'll be good at the end.
That's what counts.
Oh my gosh.
Sticky.
It is very sticky today. So you can melt the Nutella just a little bit to add it in. I haven't today, so that's why it's a bit thicker, but that's okay.
It will all taste the same.
It will, yes. There we go. So we're going to pop them in the oven, and I'm going to just wipe this bench quickly and check our first ones that we put in, because they will be close to ready. Well, actually, I think they might be ready. We might switch trays. They're looking super good. Another towel. How good do they look?
Oh, they do look good. Golden brown.
Yeah, nice and golden brown. You could probably cook them a little bit longer if you do want them a bit browner, but
Soft.
you don't want to do them too much, because otherwise they will go hard and they'll be hard to eat. So for our last ones that we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing M&M and hundreds and thousands.
How are you going to do the M&Ms?
So we can do two ways. We can either mix the M&Ms into the mixture like we did with the choc chips, or you can put them on top. So we might do them on top today.
Yeah, I like on top.
Because we've already done some in the mixture. So with these ones, again, we just roll them into balls. As I said, they don't have to be perfect in shape. Yes, they do smell really good.
You'll have to make it for yourself to smell.
Yes.
The smell.
This will be a great recipe, especially if the children are home doing homeschool. They'll be able to get involved and do it with you.
Or they can make them for Dad.
They can for Father's Day
next
yes,
weekend.
Definitely.
Coffee and bickies for Dad.
And once they're cooked, you just need to keep them in an airtight container or a zip seal bag.
They last for a while?
They last, if they don't get eaten first, they do last for a while.
That's an issue.
They don't last very long in my house, but they do last for a bit, yes.
I don't think they're going to last long in anyone's house, just quietly.
No, I don't think so. Once you have one, you just want more.
No, that's right. Addictive.
They're good with a coffee or a hot chocolate.
Yep. Definitely.
So with these ones, we're just adding them on top instead of on the inside.
They look pretty.
There we go.
Kids will love it.
And again, we just pop them in the oven to cook the same way as the others. So our last lot we're going to do today is our hundreds and thousands. So I will use a separate bowl. I'll just do a little batch for this one. And I'm just going to add them into the bowl. You can either mix them through, which I'll do a bit of both, or you can just coat the biscuits in the hundreds and thousands so they're on the outside. You will need to make sure the dough is a little bit softer so that the hundreds and thousands stick. So that's how we can pop them there. so it's just a bit more decorative. Does get a bit messy, this recipe, but that's all right. That's the good part about it. Okay.
They look pretty.
We'll do a couple more and we'll get them in the oven. And then I think our next lot is cooked.
Oh, yes.
They smell really good. That's not very round, but that's all right because they'll all flatten
Natural.
out in the...
Rustic.
That's right.
Rustic
They'll all
is the
flatten out
word.
in the oven anyway. There we go. Let's get these ones in. And I will get our Milo ones. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, Milo and choc chip ones out. So as you can see, they're super quick to cook. They do sort, these ones didn't flatten down too much, but they do flatten down a bit in the
Yes.
oven.
Nice.
Perfect. So I hope everyone enjoys making this recipe if you do at home and has a great day. Thank you.